Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you made a decision and felt completely sure about it? Not nervous, not second-guessing, not lying awake at 2 a.m. asking yourself, did I do the right thing? Most people cannot remember that moment. And the reason is not that they are stupid. The reason is that nobody ever taught them how to think. School taught you what to think. Your parents taught you what to believe. Society taught you what to want. But nobody sat you down and said, here is how your mind actually works. Here is why you keep making the same mistakes. Here is why smart people make better decisions faster and feel less regret. That is what today is about. This is not a video about tips. This is not a list of habits to try for a week and forget. This is a complete rewiring, a new operating system for your mind. And if you take this seriously, not just watch it, but live it, you will think differently by the end of this week. You will speak differently. You will see things others completely miss. And you will stop feeling like life is happening to you and start feeling like you are happening to life. Let's go. Rule 1. Stop consuming. Start processing. Here is the trap almost everyone falls into in today's world. They consume more and more information, videos, podcasts, articles, reels, news, and they think that consuming makes them smarter. They feel productive, they feel like they are learning. But months pass and nothing changes. Their decisions are the same, their thinking is the same, their life is the same. Why? Because consuming information is not the same as processing it. Think about food. You can eat all day long, but if your body cannot digest what you eat, you get sick. The food is not helping you, it is actually harming you. Your mind works the same way. When you consume content without processing it, without sitting with it, questioning it, connecting it to your life, applying it, it just piles up. It becomes mental noise, and mental noise does not make you smarter. It makes you more confused. Smart thinkers are not the biggest consumers of information. They are the best processors of it. There is a famous story about Isaac Newton. When the plague hit England in 1665, Cambridge University shut down. Newton went home to a farm in Woolsthorpe. No libraries, no professors, no new information coming in. Just him and his mind, and time to think. In those 18 months, he developed calculus, the laws of motion, and the theory of gravity. Not by consuming more, but by sitting still long enough to process what he already knew. You have more information in your phone right now than Newton had access to in his entire lifetime. But are you producing anything close to what he produced? The difference is not information, it is depth of thinking. Here is how to become a processor, not just a consumer. 1. After every video or article, close it and write one sentence. Just one. What was the single most important idea? If you cannot write that sentence, you did not understand it. Go back and find it. 2. Give your mind empty time every day. No podcast on the walk, no phone on the toilet, no YouTube while eating. Let your mind wander. Let it connect ideas. Let it breathe. This is not laziness. This is where your best thinking happens. 3. Teach it to someone within 24 hours. The moment you know you have to explain something to another person, your brain shifts. It stops being passive. It starts organizing, simplifying, finding gaps. Teaching is the fastest form of processing. 4. Create more than you consume. Write something, build something, record something. Start a conversation based on what you learned. The moment you start creating with what you know, understanding goes 10 times deeper. The smartest people in the room are not the ones who read the most. They are the ones who think the most about what they read. Slow down. Go deeper. Process more. That is where intelligence lives. Rule 2. Train yourself to feel comfortable being wrong. This one will be uncomfortable, but it is one of the most powerful rules in this entire video. Most people are terrified of being wrong, and that terror, that need to always be right, is silently destroying their ability to think clearly. When you need to be right, you stop listening to anything that challenges you. You get defensive in conversations. You hold on to bad ideas because letting go feels like losing. You surround yourself with people who agree with you and call it loyalty. You stop asking questions because questions might reveal gaps in your knowledge, and that feels embarrassing. This is not strength. This is fragility wearing the mask of confidence. Truly smart thinkers have a completely different relationship with being wrong. They hunt for their mistakes. They are genuinely excited when someone points out a flaw in their thinking. Because to them, being wrong is not a threat. It is an upgrade. Ray Dalio, one of the most successful investors in history, built his entire life philosophy around this. He calls it radical open-mindedness. He actively encourages the people around him to tell him when he's wrong. He rewards it. He says the worst thing that can happen to him is that he keeps believing something false. Think about that. He is one of the most successful humans alive, and his secret is that he is more willing than anyone else to admit he is wrong. Here is how to build this skill. 1. Practice saying, "I was wrong," once a day. Find something small, an assumption you made that turned out to be incorrect, a judgment about someone that did not hold up. Say it out loud. Get comfortable with the words. The more you say them for small things, the less terrifying they are for big things. 2. Separate your identity from your ideas. Your idea being wrong does not mean you are wrong. Your belief being challenged does not mean you are being attacked. When you stop treating your opinions as part of your identity, you can examine them clearly and change them when needed. 3. Ask, what would prove me wrong? This is one of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself. For any belief you hold, ask, what evidence would change my mind? If you cannot think of any answer, that is a sign you are not thinking. You are just believing. 4. Spend time with people who see differently than you. Not to argue, not to convert them, to genuinely understand how a smart person arrived at a different conclusion. Every time you do this with an open mind, your thinking expands. Being wrong is not the problem. Staying wrong because you are too proud to admit it, that is the problem. The smartest thinkers in history were not the ones who were always right. They were the ones who were least afraid of being wrong and therefore corrected fastest. Rule 3. Understand the difference between noise and signal. Every single day, your mind is bombarded. Breaking news, social media arguments, gossip, opinions, predictions, drama, trending topics, someone's hot take, someone else's emotional rant, a new study that contradicts last week's study. All of it is fighting for your attention. All of it feels important. Most of it is not. Smart thinkers have developed one critical ability. They can tell the difference between noise and signal. Noise is information that feels urgent, but changes nothing meaningful about your life. Signal is information that is actually relevant, actually true, and actually helps you make better decisions. Noise is 90% of what you see online every day. Signal is rare. And if you cannot separate them, your mind fills with noise, and your thinking suffers. Here is a simple example. There are two people who both hear that the stock market dropped sharply today. Person A panics. They read 15 articles. They watch 4 YouTube videos about the crash. They argue in 3 comment sections. They tell 5 friends. They spend the evening anxious and distracted. Person B asks one question. Does this change anything about my long-term plan? The answer is no. So they continue with their evening. Calm, focused, productive.
Same information, completely different response. Because person B knows the difference between noise and signal. Here is how to develop this skill. 1. Before consuming any information, ask, will this matter in 1 year? Most breaking news, most trending drama, most social media arguments will be completely irrelevant in 12 months. If the answer is no, you are allowed to ignore it. Not because you are uninformed, but because you are protecting your mental bandwidth for things that actually matter. 2. Identify your actual sources of signal. What information is genuinely useful for where you are trying to go? If you want to build a business, signal is customer feedback, market research, financial basics. If you want better health, signal is actual science, not influencer trends. Know what signal looks like for your life and seek that intentionally. 3. Reduce the number of inputs. Smarter people often consume less media than average, not more, because they know that more inputs means more noise. Choose 2 or 3 genuinely trustworthy sources for the areas that matter to you, and let the rest go. 4. Delay your reaction to news. When something big happens, wait 48 hours before forming a strong opinion. In the first 24 hours, there is always more noise than signal, more panic than fact, more reaction than clarity. Wait. Let the dust settle. Then respond from a position of actual understanding. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. Noise is constantly trying to steal it. Protect it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. Rule 4. Think forward, not just backward. Here is a pattern that traps millions of people. They spend enormous mental energy analyzing the past. What went wrong? Who is to blame? Why this happened? How unfair it was? And almost no energy thinking forward. What can I do now? What is my next move? What does the best possible outcome look like from here? This is called backward thinking, and it feels productive. It feels like you are learning from the past, but most of the time, it is just a sophisticated form of staying stuck. Smart thinkers are oriented toward the future, not in a naive, everything will be fine way, in a practical way. They ask, given where I am right now, not where I wish I was, not where I should have been, where is the best place I can go from here? Here is a story that shows this perfectly. 2 soldiers were found on a remote island decades after World War II had ended. They had not received the news that the war was over, so they kept fighting. Every day, for years, they were fighting a war that no longer existed. Their past, their old orders, their old reality had become a prison, and they could not escape it because they were not looking forward. Most people are doing the same thing, fighting old battles, carrying old wounds, living by old beliefs, protecting themselves from threats that no longer exist. Forward thinking does not mean forgetting the past. It means not letting the past make your decisions for you. Here is how to think forward. 1. Replace "why did this happen" with "what do I do next?" Both questions are valid, but the second one is where your energy should live after the first few minutes of processing. Why is a question for understanding. What next is a question for moving. 2. Practice pre-mortem thinking. Before starting something important, imagine it failed. Ask yourself, if this did not work, what most likely caused it? This is not pessimism. This is smart preparation. It lets you solve problems before they happen, instead of after. 3. Write your ideal future with specificity. Not, "I want to be successful." That is vague. Write, "In 1 year, I want to be doing this specific work, earning this specific amount, living in this kind of environment, feeling this way every morning." Specificity creates direction, and direction makes your daily thinking sharper. 4. Make peace with the past in order to leave it. Sometimes backward thinking is a sign of unprocessed emotion. If you find yourself constantly replaying a failure, a betrayal, a mistake, it may need to be addressed honestly, not just dismissed. Write about it, talk to someone, process it fully, and then consciously choose to orient your mind forward. You cannot drive forward while staring in the rearview mirror. Learn from the past, honor it, and then look ahead. That is where your life is waiting for you.
Rule 5. Master the art of asking better questions. Here is something that will change the way you see intelligence forever. Smart people are not the ones with the best answers. They're the ones with the best questions. Think about every major breakthrough in human history, every great invention, every scientific discovery, every business that changed the world. Behind each one was not a person who found the right answer. It was a person who asked the right question first. Edison did not ask, "How do I make fire?" He asked, "How do I create light without flame?" Gutenberg did not ask, "How do I write faster?" He asked, "What if printing worked like a wine press?" Every great mind started with a question nobody else had thought to ask. And in your personal life, the quality of your questions determines the quality of your thinking, completely. Compare these two questions. Why does nothing ever work out for me? Versus, what is one thing I could change that would make the biggest difference in my situation right now? Both are questions, but the first one closes your mind. It is designed to confirm a feeling of helplessness. Your brain will find evidence that supports it and stop there. The second one opens your mind. It is designed to find a solution. Your brain will go searching, and it will find something useful. Smart thinkers are careful about the questions they ask themselves, because your brain always answers the question you give it. Make sure you are giving it the right ones. Here is how to ask better questions. 1. Start questions with how and what instead of why when you want solutions. Why am I like this keeps you stuck. What can I do to change this moves you forward. The word you start with shapes the entire direction your brain travels. 2. Ask questions that assume a positive outcome. Instead of, "Can I do this?" ask, "How would I do this if I knew I could?" Instead of, "Will this work?" ask, "What would have to be true for this to work?" This small shift opens doors your brain would otherwise keep closed. 3. Keep a question journal. Every evening, write down the most important question you are carrying. Not the answer,
just the question. Let your subconscious work on it overnight. You will be surprised what clarity arrives by morning. 4. When someone is speaking, ask yourself, what question would take this conversation deeper? Most people prepare their response while the other person talks. Smart thinkers prepare their next question. This keeps learning open and makes you someone people feel genuinely heard by. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you live with. Ask bigger ones. Ask braver ones. Ask ones that nobody around you is asking yet. That is where the real thinking begins. Rule 6. Build the habit of mental silence. We live in the loudest time in human history. There has never been more noise, more stimulation, more content, more notifications, more demands on your attention than right now. And in this environment, something precious and rare has almost completely disappeared. Silence. Not just physical silence, but mental silence. The ability to sit still with your own thoughts without reaching for your phone, without turning on music, without filling the space with something, anything, just to avoid being alone with your mind. And that inability, that discomfort with mental silence, is one of the biggest reasons most people never reach the depth of thinking they are capable of. Because the deepest thoughts do not arrive in noise. They arrive in stillness. Every great thinker in history had a practice of silence. Einstein took long walks alone, no conversation, no input, just his mind moving freely. Darwin had a thinking path in his garden where he walked in silence every single day. Steve Jobs took long walks to think through his most important decisions. Marcus Aurelius wrote in private silence every morning before the day began. This is not a coincidence. It is a pattern. Silence is not empty. Silence is full of your own voice, your own clarity, your own answers. But you will never hear any of that if you never stop filling the space. Here is how to build mental silence into your life. 1. Sit for 10 minutes every morning with no input. No phone, no music, no podcast. Just sit. Breathe. Let thoughts come and go. This will feel deeply uncomfortable for the first week. That discomfort is proof of how much you need it. 2. Walk without headphones once a day. Let your mind wander. Notice where it goes. The thoughts that arrive on a silent walk are often the ones you have been avoiding, and they are often the most important ones. 3. Before making any important decision, spend 5 minutes in complete silence first. Not to force an answer, just to clear the noise and hear yourself more clearly. 4. When you feel overwhelmed, do not add more input. The instinct is to search for an answer, watch a video, ask someone, read something. But sometimes the overwhelm is your mind telling you it is too full. The answer is not more input. The answer is silence, space, room to breathe. In silence, you find clarity. In silence, you find creativity. In silence, you find the voice inside you that knows far more than the noise ever will. Give your mind silence, and it will give you answers.
Rule 7. Know your thinking traps. Every human brain has built-in errors. Scientists call them cognitive biases. I call them thinking traps. These are automatic patterns your brain runs, shortcuts that were useful for survival thousands of years ago, but that lead you into poor decisions today. Smart thinkers are not free from these traps, no one is. But smart thinkers know the traps. And knowing them means you can catch yourself before you fall in.
Let me teach you the most important ones. Confirmation bias. This is the trap where your brain automatically searches for evidence that confirms what you already believe and ignores evidence that challenges it. You see this in politics, in relationships, in business. Someone has already decided what is true, and now everything they read, watch, and hear is filtered through that lens. To escape this, actively search for the strongest argument against your current belief before deciding.
Sunk cost thinking. This is the trap where you keep investing in something, a relationship, a business, a path, not because it makes sense going forward, but because you have already put so much into it. I've come this far, I can't stop now. Smart thinkers ask, if I had not already invested in this, would I choose to start now? If the answer is no, it is time to exit, regardless of what has already been spent. Availability bias. This is the trap where you overestimate the importance of things that come to mind easily. If you just saw a news story about plane crashes, you suddenly fear flying, even though statistically it is extremely safe. Your brain mistakes memorable for common. To escape this, always ask for actual data before drawing conclusions from your feelings. The halo effect. This is the trap where one positive quality about a person makes you assume all their other qualities are positive too. Someone is attractive, so you assume they are intelligent. Someone is confident, so you assume they are competent. Smart thinkers evaluate each quality separately, and they are never fooled by packaging. Here is how to catch your thinking traps. 1. Before any major decision, ask, is my brain running a shortcut here? Just naming the possibility slows down the automatic pattern and gives your rational mind a chance to engage. 2. Get an outside perspective. Share your reasoning with someone you trust who will be honest with you. Thinking traps are hard to see from inside your own head. They are often obvious from outside it. 3. Write your reasoning down. When your logic is written on paper, gaps and inconsistencies become visible in a way they never are in your head. 4. Wait. Many thinking traps lose their power with time. An emotional, biased decision made in the heat of the moment looks very different 24 hours later. Give yourself the gift of delay. Your brain is extraordinary, but it is not perfect. Knowing its imperfections is not weakness. It is the beginning of real intelligence. You just spent real time with 7 rules that most people will never think about seriously. Let me say them one final time. Stop consuming. Start processing. Get comfortable being wrong. Know the difference between noise and signal. Think forward, not just backward. Ask better questions. Build the habit of mental silence. Know your thinking traps. These are not ideas to admire. They are practices to live. Pick one, just one, and commit to it completely for the next 7 days. Not perfectly, but consistently. Because intelligence is not a destination. It is a direction. Every day you move toward sharper thinking, clearer decisions, and deeper understanding. You are becoming the person your future needs you to be. The world does not need more people who are loud. It needs more people who are clear. Be one of them. And before you go, if this video added even one powerful idea to your life today, do one small thing for me. Hit that subscribe button right now, because every single week I come back here with content exactly like this. Content that does not waste your time, does not give you empty motivation,
but gives you real tools to think smarter, live better, and grow faster. Most people scroll past that button, but you are not most people. You just watched this entire video. That already tells me you are serious about growth. So join this family. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell so you never miss a video, and share this with one person in your life. A friend, a sibling, someone who you know is working hard but feels stuck. This might be exactly what they need to hear today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for thinking. Thank you for choosing growth over comfort. I will see you in the next one.